Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be another great video. And this is a serious topic. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in this. And it is why healthcare will never be fixed in America. Now, as someone who graduated with a 4-year degree in biology, I studied the human body. I studied chromosome abnormalities, why people are born with autism, things like that. That is something that I was very curious about and something that really piqued my interest. And my mom did run a daycare for several years, which I did help her with. And she did have children with autism, children with different disabilities that I had to support, help feed. And, you know, they had temper tantrums, things like that, which we had to work through. And so that was very near and dear to my heart and was almost the reason why I decided to become a doctor or pharmacist. But I decided to opt out of that because I felt and believed in myself that as a manager I could be more financially successful over the long run, start investing, and make more financial gains than a doctor would. Which also led to me opening up this YouTube channel that you see today. But less about me and more about why the healthcare system will never ever really truly be fixed in America. So, we talked earlier about China curing diabetes earlier in the year. And they cured diabetes by doing some stem therapy treatment. Now, for a lot of you who don't know a lot about cell therapy and cell growth, a lot of the times is basically taking a bit of your stem cells, right? You're culturing it within a laboratory. You're allowing it to multiply. You're allowing it to essentially reproduce itself and grow. So it's like, imagine me, just me, Festus. You see me, I duplicate myself. It's a twin. Everything is identical, and that continues to duplicate within that culture. This is seen in bacteria. You may have done a class on bacteria as well, where you see it duplicate and replicate itself as a singular organism or a singular bacteria. This allows for the same type of cell to be duplicated. So for example, with HIV and AIDS, the white blood cell is impacted so much that it is dwindled down. One good way to solve for HIV and AIDS is to have more white blood cells. How can you do that? You can culture the white blood cells in order to produce more, which would then fight off other agents within the body, right? Sounds simple, right? The problem with the white blood cells and why HIV still exists to this day is because the white blood cells cannot detect AIDS. And so, at least from my understanding from when I was in college, the white blood cells could not detect AIDS. So please let me know if I'm wrong now in today's current, medical terms, because everything is updating and I've been about 4 to 5 years removed from college. So I don't want to be wrong with about a half a decades of unpolished experience and education. But with that being said, I still haven't answered necessarily why the healthcare system is essentially rigged. And the reason for that is, okay, China has found a cure for diabetes. Yes, they're going to test that over about a year or so, and then they'll get to implementing that within the U.S., right? By the time they want to come to the U.S., Ozempic, Wegovy, what's the other one? Trulicity or something like that. Zepbound. All these things that reduce appetite, that make people lose weight, that essentially help with diabetes because you're eating less. So your sugar intake is very much lessened. right? There's also a weight loss component to it that a lot of people are really, really excited about. And so, a lot of the times I've gotten plenty of calls of people just wanting weight loss, and they want to see if it's acceptable with their plan, and to see if they can get the easy way out, essentially. And to be honest, I have a lot of sympathy for them because I just went to the store today. I love macaroni and cheese, and I promise you that this ties into the video, so please continue to watch. I absolutely love macaroni and cheese, and I realized that there was no fat-free options in every store that I went to. So I had to go to a Walmart. I eventually found a fat-free cheddar cheese. I had to buy 2 of them. And when I tell you that the price of this fat-free cheddar cheese was twice as much as the non-fat-free version, and when I bought 2 of them, it was essentially as if I bought 4 of the non-fat-free version. Of course, a lot of people would want the non-fat-free version. 1, it probably tastes better because I haven't tried the fat-free version yet. And then 2, you get so much more bang for your buck. I mean, I spent way more on 2 bags of cheese than it would have cost me to do about 4 bowls of macaroni and cheese, whereas I'll probably only be able to do 2 or 3. And so I absolutely understand why a lot of people would say, hey, I need this in order to be skinnier, because they're still going to get the cheaper food because, again, American pockets are stressed. We're in an inflationary period, higher interest rates for longer. They're not really getting raises at their job, and they're already used to a cheaper product, a watered down product, a product with so many artificial flavors and sweeteners that it may even taste wrong to eat natural flavoring food. And so, with all that being said, I completely understand why someone would seek the healthcare system now and ask about their dieting plans and ask about all these other things. To be honest, I don't really believe that people should have to fast the way they do. You see, I sometimes only eat 1 meal a day. At most, I eat 2 meals a day. But if we all had healthier ingredients, it would not need to be like that. For example, I looked at the maple syrup section. I hate syrup. I actually only use cream cheese when I'm eating pancakes, French toast, or whatever it is that I want to eat. But when I looked at Jack's maple syrup or Ann's maple syrup or artificial buttered syrup, they all had so many different sweeteners, so many different flavors, natural flavors, corn syrup, water, sugar, all this stuff. They all cost around $3.29. And it was real big bottles. I'm talking about almost as big as my forearm. I found one bottle this big, and it said maple syrup on it. That's it. No other ingredients. It costs twice as much, people. Again, to eat healthy literally costs 2 times as much. So if I was to work my budget, just rework my budget, and just assume that all of my foods had so many different ingredients that it shouldn't have, and I typically spend about $300 a month on groceries, it would then cost me $600 a month to eat everything organic. If we're just throwing everything out and starting fresh, it would cost me $600 a month to now eat everything organic. How many people have that in their budget for 1 or 2 people to now be spending $600 a month? And so, again, I completely understand why you're now relying on the healthcare system to diet, to suppress your appetite, because you're not eating as much as you should. And when you do eat as much as you should, it is so many calories because they're just not good for you. So, of course, America is going to be overweight. Of course, they're going to have high blood pressure. Of course, they're going to have diabetes. And then when you get to the fast food sector, with all the sodium, with all the sugar, with all the products that have been frozen for so long, of course they're going to have times where they're crashing, where their body is throwing up, where they need to get used to all this stuff. When I was in the Army, it took me months to get used to eating Popeye's chicken again because of all the oil, all the grease that we're not accustomed to in the military. And so I say all that to say, yes, the system is made to keep you fat, is made to keep you overweight, is made to keep you dependent and reliant on them. It's not made to actually help you to get off of drugs, to get off of doing what you're already doing and improving your life tremendously. They say diet and exercise. Sure, everyone should be able to exercise, but the diet portion I'm a little skeptical of because it really takes some education. And exercise also takes some form of education. You can't just start exercising not knowing what you're doing, eating whatever you want, right? And so diet and exercise is truly important, and it goes hand in hand. But also eating the right foods, having the education in order to eat properly and successfully. People, when I first came to this new state, I was overweight. I was out of shape. I didn't know what to do in order to get better. I started to eat better. I started to consume less. I started to work out more. And now I can look at my face and say, wow, it's clear. Wow, it's skinny. Wow, I can see my dimples again. You know, this took a long time to get a hold of. Push-ups and just going for walks wasn't enough. I had to do more. I had to improve. I had to stop eating what I was eating, especially late night. I stopped eating 3 hours before bed. This truly helped me a lot. And so again, the system is made for us to fail. From the food that we eat to the drugs that are consumed, right? They're not made for you to get off of the medication. It's made to keep you reliant on the medication. It doesn't actually help the body to rebuild itself and be self-sufficient, but instead it helps the body to be reliant, right? And this is how people become addicted to certain drugs and certain prescriptions. And yes, it is big business. It is big business in the food industry to keep you addicted, to keep you coming back, to keep you wanting more, to keep everything tasting good. It is big business for people to keep you relying on the drugs because you keep coming back. Imagine if you stopped coming back and stopped being a customer. That would be the worst case scenario, right? And so everything is medication, medication, medication. And it's not necessarily about what is best for you. How can you do this without medication? Things like that that can truly, truly help you in the long run. And so, yes, and then another thing that I wanted to touch on today, universal health care. Presidents have talked about this already. So many people have talked about a universal health care. I don't necessarily think that that's the right way to go because one, the government spends way more money than they take in already. So you can see with the Ukraine fight, they've spent over $500 billion. Now, sorry, over $200 billion. Now, President Biden stated that if he were to get 24 to 25% taxes on the rich, people who made over $400,000 a year, then you would be able to raise $500 billion over the course of a 10-year period. You spent half of that in 1 year. What makes you think that if we give you more money, that you would actually pay down our debt? You wouldn't. You would go into more debt. That's what you do. That is who you are, right? You're going into more debt. You're not paying off the debt. So more money is literally more problems in the U.S. economy. That's how it's been with every single president for the last, I can easily say, 24 years, right? So I have not seen where a president has used our money wisely, where a president can confidently say, we've actually paid down the debt. All they do is talk about what they're going to do if they're reelected, but when they're actually in office, nothing is ever done. They don't impact change, and then they blame the other parties for it. We have really not actually solved any of our issues for a long time, and adding to our bills is not going to benefit us in any way, shape, or form. We're already talking about Social Security going insolvent, and that's just another pressing issue that the government, that the presidencies will have to fix. just to keep that alive, needless to talk about anything else. So of course you're going to hear tax the rich for the next decade, for the rest of your life, to be honest with you, and nothing will truly ever be done. So when it comes to universal health care, I don't believe that that's the smartest thing to do, because our doctors are told to keep us on medications and drugs and not actually taught how to best support us, help us, and get us off of medication and drugs, right? And so if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. Maybe a doctor will reach out to you. Definitely speak to your doctor. Don't take all your advice from an average guy on YouTube. Do your own research and get your own understanding. And if you like this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the channel, and I will see you in the next one.